6点钟方向，红色的法兰西，这个是 Liereyy， 这个天才少年哦，在这个6点钟方向，对手 Viper 蓝色的 Viper 哦，那我们等一下看一下它的位置。这边 Liereyy 走的是双刺侯开。
So the second scout really makes a lot of sense. In addition, you get
我看一下 Viper 在12点钟方向，然后我们来看一下 Viper 的位置。
Also gives you a little bit more wiggle room in terms of like if your opponent tries to tower rush you, you've got 2 units to try.
好，这边看到了，有没有 tower rush 呢？没有，走的是双牧场。OK， 那很稳很稳。
Liereyy beginning to scout out exactly what is going on up in Viper's base, and over in Viper's base, we can see that he's collected a huge amount of sheep already from the Khan, and he's managed to take out a sheep from his enemy as well. So there was a little bit of an engagement earlier on where he actually managed to take that one out.
好，这边没绕一绕，等一下看一下。那法兰西打蒙古，那因为蒙古没有要塔攻，所以先到封建时期，我们就看一下蒙古要怎么打法兰西。是要打后期吗？
Clock is all covered up, so you're not going to know how long this game goes for. But just remember, we'll always catch up when these guys do eventually finish their game. Viper likes to take a little bit of a break, likes to stretch the legs after he finishes his game. So we'll see how he goes. But now going to be harassing the villagers. There's 4 villagers on gold. To you, does that indicate any plans coming out from Liereyy? Is that a potential? Is that a potential just a standard night opening? Is that a professional scouts? What do you think?
可汗的一个骚扰，好像骑士学校没好。在骑士学校好之前，这个可汗暂时没法阻止他。我可汗带那么多羊，要是我就村民拉了，直接他妈干他的羊。他妈带8只羊，我一干你的羊他就受不了，你就一定要跑。那8只羊被我杀光了，一定哭死。
with this night opening this game, as we've kind of already talked about, is Viper's got that gold mine right underneath his town center, and that's normally the place you want to be attacking with knights early.
这个
a little bit further away from the town center and harder to defend, but
Viper 的开局位置不错哦。我们看一开始是木金，有木又有金，蛮愉快的。
Also going for the early Gur, which to me indicates that he's probably thinking about going for a wheelbarrow himself. Is that what you would see?
他的那个画
mean when you see a Gur coming out like that?
Yeah, I think
把时间遮住了。
I can't see why else he would make it unless he wants to move it to his hut later. I mean, I guess it's going to help him with his wood income a little bit too, a little bit less walk time. But yeah, he's still collecting gold, so I think the wheelbarrow makes a lot of sense.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a pretty decent move. But Liereyy now reaching the second age. We'll be checking in with him and seeing how he's doing. So it doesn't look like we've got any knights coming out so far. It is going to be a professional scout opening coming through there. That Discord noise that you guys would have heard, I'm suspecting it's Liereyy who's come back in, and he has informed us that he's fixed it. I think for the moment we might just stick with this this overlay, and then we might think about it in the second game. But until then, I guess we just hang out. But we now see a knight also coming through for Liereyy here.
那基本上在肉金，基本上木金都在附近的情况底下，蒙古要打上城也完全不是问题哦。我要打一个比较偷，我这边选择下的是马厩，他并不是要急着，他没有选择放在家里旁边的，比较大胆，比较远。
And
yeah, 这边要小心被骚扰。
It's got to be Megadai, right? With this gold that he's stacking, he's not really gathering a lot of wood, so it looks like that is going to be the option, and that makes sense. The knights are a little bit slower than horsemen, so like the Megadai can kind of kite them forever as they can shoot while they're moving and stuff like that. Also gives you a lot of harassment potential.
Yeah, and we now see it is going to be Megadai coming through, so you can see the 2 of them at the moment. Currently being trained. 13 seconds to go. Village are going to have to get pulled in this current position. The sheep going to be falling back as well. But now we see that the Khan going to be trying its best just to scream for the villager. Villager got to be careful.
巴掌要走蒙古图记嘛？现在我蛮常看到有人会用蒙古图记在初期给予对方一些压力的。虽然打不痛，不过用蒙古图记你就一直跑，他也打不到你，所以也没差。
Only doing 4 damage an arrow. A little bit of a tickle there, wouldn't you say, Mito?
Yeah, but that knight is not going to be having an easy time escaping. but the second knight will drive those away. And actually, Liereyy just going to be going in here.
Yeah, Liereyy really committing at this point. Obviously, he's also got access to the French knights as well. So even in worst case scenario, he just keeps this knight alive and just tries to fall back. But now we can actually see Viper going to be pushing out and Liereyy doing a little bit of a tactical charge, forcing back those Magadai. He might actually have to give up one of these royal knights.
Yeah, that looks like it might be the case. But that knight has a lot of HP. Actually, I think it's going to be able to get back to the town center in time.
那家里面 Viper 看 Viper 的经济量应该是要上乘的啦，对，这应该没有任何问题。
Now we actually see he's going to put down that movement speed arrow. Now beginning to chase away the enemy Royal Knight. Royal Knight probably going to go down. It does manage to go into the stealth forest. Obviously, the Khan being a scout is going to have that little bit of extra line of sight. And you can see he's coming back. He's got 18 health on it, a couple of archers. He might be able to save it, and indeed he does. So Liereyy already some very impressive micro coming out in the early stages of the very first game here. All right, well, we might have a little bit of downtime right here. So while players are currently just in downtime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch us over. Hopefully this works, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize in advance if it doesn't. Give me a second here. All right, here we go. I don't know if that worked. Doesn't look like that worked. So we're trying to switch it over back to we're trying to switch it back over to the main broadcast or the Lidicore broadcast. I'm going to try and get that one in for you guys. Give us a second here. All right, there we go. We're back in. Right, we've now
干他终于好了，我他妈快不要笑死！好了，搞定了就好了，搞定了就好了。
All right, are you able to see that one, Mido?
他到底要弄多久？
We are
好了，
with the
那
we've got all the information now, all the cards, and
那这个就可以关掉。
All right, well, hopefully it should all be good now. That makes me feel a lot better. The time block has now been removed as well, so
哦，这边想搬。
But yeah,
抓爆！
I tell you what, that was a little bit tricky, but I think we got there. We got there in the end, Mido. We
快
did.
逃啊！
We did, yeah, and these Magadai now forcing the scouts away from the hunt, so Lierey's going to have a hard time bringing those in. He's going to have to replace those scouts probably. I don't think there's really much chance that they escape here. At the same time, Liereyy kind of sneaking around the side, trying to find an angle to raid, but all the economy for Viper is just really safe and centralized underneath the town center. And now Viper even trying to go up to the castle age.
Yeah, this is really.
这组合算超级老对手啊 ，C 帝国2的这个经典对战。
Almost impossible to actually do some early damage to them. It's only after they get more than 20 villagers.
我蛮讶异 Liereyy 会来参加这个比赛的。
Because they can't fit any more villagers in their town center.
不过是好事，
We'll have
这
to
绝
see
对是
how
好事
Liereyy goes with that.
这个对于
As you mentioned,
喜欢
all
C
the
帝国的
resources just stack
玩家来
so
讲，
safely
大家可以
underneath
看
the
一
town
下
center.。
不过这个前提到目前为止，我们就看就是蒙古图记的一个骚扰。哦，这个漂亮绕过来，很漂亮。这个绕得好。抓掉两只。哎呦，想插塔在那边点掉。哎呦，这个慢慢的Liereyy是要把节奏拉回来了。Viper 这边村民数有点少哦。 然后 Viper 这边上到了城堡，而Liereyy这边则刚下这个工会大厅。
He absolutely loves doing that stuff.
Yeah, sprinkled emplacements are very strong. Also, just getting that Yam network for those Magadai.
这应该这个对战，如果在世纪帝国2就只会在决赛出现而已，或是最早就是什么8强能够遇到都很少见啦，通常都是4强才会遇到。那这个在这次的比赛，他们在这个64强就可以看到。哦，真的假的？Liereyy前阵子说他暂时要专心在世纪帝国4，可能是因为世纪帝国4的比赛奖金比较高，应该是因为我最近有看一下世纪帝国的，对，我要看一下这个比赛奖金。世纪帝国4的奖金确实是，可能毕竟是新游戏啦，奖金还是真的比较高一点点。然后这边Liereyy也上到了城堡，不过 Viper 好像没有第一时间要给什么压力哦。 他选的并不是马厩，他并没有要走金马哦，他选的他是一个感觉比较像是这个陆军。
think that there's any reason he would need the Knights right now. I mean, there's a lot of archers out, but a Mangonel can deal with those archers just as well as the Knights can.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We've actually seen a huge amount of.
我觉得在世纪帝国4里面有个地方，就是世纪帝国4里面的塔，我认为真的是，就是你盖塔本身太没有，就是基本上你塔盖下去，在某些地图，只要你盖塔就是赚。我觉得这个在游戏里面不是一件好事。
So it looks like it's probably just going to be a men at arm and crossbow play. Which seems to be very common as well. A lot of civilizations seem to be doing this. But another raid coming back on the gold mine. Take a look at this, Mino.
这 Liereyy 是不是一阵子 Liereyy 没有出现过在赛场上？这一场比赛是不是要把 Viper 打爆啦？
And that's going to be pretty annoying for Viper, as he has to keep positioning his villagers on the other side of that gold mine to get the benefit from the steppered out. He can't keep them directly next to the town center to keep them nice and safe. And Lierey's just going to keep poking away at that as the game goes on.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Now we see that forward Mangonel getting put down. You mentioned that earlier. So no real surprise for that coming through. One of the strongest technologies in the game is that improved siege engineering.
我原本以为Liereyy不强，不过这样看起来Liereyy玩得不错哎。
Villagers right now compared to Viper, who's sitting on 36. Now, obviously, there's a few caveats to that. Viper's got the pastures that are going to be giving him.
Viper 是几乎是没有得到。刚刚除了蒙古突击出来稍微压制了对手，但压制完之后，其实基本上没有得到太多的这个战果。
Yeah, and this is potentially actually going to be a good.
反正是家里的村民一直掉了，现在村民已经落到快10村了。
Is going to be a good timing for Mongols in this situation. They already have their pasture set up, and actually some Mangodai getting caught in the stealth forest here.
Yeah, these Mangodai definitely might be able to make it out with its life. You can see the health dropping on that to almost 100. Losing a lot of Mangodai there. Liereyy looking incredibly strong. Now beginning to push out at the same time. Push down towards the south. Mangonel
正面的兵在这边，从侧边来骚扰。不过这个配兵好像给的压力不会太大。
Yeah, they are.
哦，有双头车。
It made a lot of sense though for him to push at the time, right? Like you can kind of expect that Mongols might not be switching into cavalry.
这个看要用金马来换也可以，如果是正面过来，金马直接点掉就好。哦哟，开始点掉一些对方的村民。
Mangonel might be a little bit out of position. Nope, Lierey's not going to commit to that. Archers are also. Liereyy
这边正面没有要继续压了，这个对方绕到旁边来。对于法兰西来讲，这个黄金其实还是蛮重要。
So he's not in a lot of trouble just yet. He's just going to bide his time, set up that military, and then try to snipe these siege weapons when they're out of position.
Yeah, a super smart move. We can see those knight numbers now beginning to increase for Liereyy. He's slightly ahead on the military population count, but not a huge amount. But at this point in time, I think Viper's going to be particularly careful of overinvesting.
OK， 兵村民拉到后面去，后面还有其他金，还可以。 我们后面要2个金哦，地图拉这个地图6点钟。
counter attack, which we now see coming down. You can see the springald emplacement also just doing work as those units run past. More springald emplacements up towards the base of Viper as well. He's really looking prepared. We'll take a look at the guild hall. I'm curious what resources it's actually got on it. We see the villagers potentially going to go down here as they try. Guild hall is currently sitting on food. 600 food in the bank at the moment for Liereyy. So that is a huge I think his plan is to do with all that food there, Mino.
双方现在的正面部队其实这样看起来，这个Liereyy这波其实也没有很好守，他3台头车。
He's got to set up farms, but he can't really. He doesn't really want to halt his food production and stuff like that when he does that. So as soon as that hunt runs out, all these villagers are going to move towards.
要守这个要，
he can grab the food from the guild.
你可以用纯金嘛，但这个
Right, okay, it makes perfect sense. So covering both bases. And now those
战损看起来有点
looking to do
回忆
some
就是。
damage here. Still yet to add any
哦哟，
real
后面这个
siege
长
here
兵
in
数
the
量
form of,
哇 ，Liereyy 这边这个部队其实有点难解哦，除非他这边有弩炮。
Yeah, it's definitely a slow push, but it's one where these Mangonels are always going to commit to the fight, whereas a couple Trebuchets are not always going to be as useful when the opponent actually goes in. So Viper just content to bide his time here. A really nice mangonel shot killing a few archers.
我怎么觉得这个头车在我的手里和在选手手里怎么感觉落差很大？我总觉得我的头车每都丢不到什么东西就暴毙。
Obviously, the siege is always able to be produced on the field for the Mongol player, which makes it very difficult because they're taking the resources that they're gathering right now and they're investing it in the siege that they're making
被对方
right
估
now.
到旁边来偷偷盖
You
了
get
这
a
个
very
3
quick
个
turnaround. Whereas
头车，
with
而且后面
Learyy,
哇
every
直接开
single,
始
you know, he might chop the wood,
补
but then
女
he's going to
炮
wait the 35 seconds or the 40
Learyy
seconds for the Springald or the Mangonel to come out. And
马上面临到这个参加比赛来的第一个大危机。刚刚并没有办法过去换掉，现在可能已经来不及了。要用神操作马六，要用神操作躲头车。躲头，再来，弩炮抓掉一个，不错。往后拉。
The Knights on the front line going to be looking to screen here, but unfortunately, there's so many spears pushing through the Viper. Viper looking incredibly strong right now, Mido.
哇，这个金马被长枪兵完全的压制住。完了完了，这个损伤太惨重了吧？你要不要把长枪兵刷光了？弩炮在后面只有一台。 这个正面的兵感觉好像已经没东西了。
Yeah, I mean, this is such a hard spot because
哇，Liereyy 的村民还有很多哎，但是这边好像是正面这3个头车加这个兵量，好像是完全解不掉。
We can see now the Springald just going to be going down to the Mangonels. Never an exchange that you really want to be on the end of. It's a feels bad, man.
It is indeed. That siege workshop is going to be going down soon. As soon as
这个正面基本上
actually, there's not a lot of units here actually to defend the
已经没
Mangonels.
有
There's not a lot of
这
knights
个
either.
长枪兵了，但是
here.
这个被这个弩炮打得非常痛。哇，这边绕过来。 Liereyy 这边被抓了一个这个法兰西。
Still relatively high for Liereyy, though. It is dropping down 54, 53, now down to 52.
这个在转兵的时间里，
so
旁
he
边
is
偷偷
losing
来。
villages very quickly, and at the same time being sieged down towards the south. He's Viper's managed to even up the villager count at this point, and still more than 3 times ahead in the military count. Now a little bit of a movement over towards the east side of the map. Viper potentially looking for any villagers that might be exposed out towards that position. The Khan going to be scouting around as well.
Yeah, spotting near.
那 Viper 现在就压着 Liereyy 喘不过气来，兵在四周一直绕，找机会偷点东西。而且 Viper 有一个好习惯，看 Viper 的兵 ，Viper 在遇到这种兵，他很喜欢把它摆一直线，尤其是这个攻守，确保他的这个输出是这个整排的。 我看这边这边来
，This is absolutely massive from Viper at this point, and it looks like
没有机
Liereyy is
会了，
going
我
to
们
tap
恭
out.
喜
So the
Viper
first
1-0
game going over to the Viper. Turns out the
人生的
skills
这个世纪帝国4赛事初体验，遇到这个老对手。
That is the first game of the series between these two. I don't know about you.
可惜哦，可惜哦，这边其实前面村民都有杀到，都还蛮有机会的，但是这个只能说蒙古这一波的转来的又急又快啊。